Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. In this week's technical analysis, we're just going to cover the big three as well as Neo and Zcash. And I just want to start off by giving a big thanks to everyone that's supported the channel since I took crypto full time. And I know a lot of you are enjoying my fundamental analysis style videos. You're able to get in Walton Chain under $4 and it's since hit $7. A lot of you are sending me thank yous for doing that live Korea Bands ICO video. So one thing I did say last week was watch for these orchestrated attacks to kick crypto when it's down, and sure enough, CNBC, South Korea bans all cryptocurrency sales, which we know is far from the truth. So make sure you've got notifications turned on if I do have to do those live videos. We're very lucky in Australia that we're in similar time zones to China, Korea, and Japan, where the rest of the world tends to be asleep when this action occurs. So make sure you've subscribed and you've got those notifications switched on so you never miss an important event. So the last thing I just want to touch on is thanks to everyone that's joined my paid members group. I'm going to cap that at 1,000. It starts as low as $25 a month, and I do plenty of extra content focusing on fundamentals and sentiment as well as a little bit of technical analysis. And we have got a 100% strike rate since we started this 3 months ago with our trading. So we're yet to put on a losing trade, which is a record that is going to be broken at some stage, but we're definitely in a purple patch at the moment. So moving on to Bitcoin. So last week I spoke about how we're at a really crucial point, and I believe that we're going to break to the upside. And the main things that I was sort of looking for was I said, look at this MACD, and I believe there's a lot of power to be had. A lot of traders watch this if we can get across on the daily MACD, and we're watching this long-term downtrend line. But I did say we're starting to form a little bit of an uptrend line, and I was looking for this new bracket to start here on the 25th, and sure enough, these brackets just continue to get the job done for us, and we've had a nice strong break out of there. So the overall sentiment in this market is just, I spoke last week about how well it's held up considering a lot of bad news and all these bans and all this far decay, and I believe there's a lot of built up energy in these markets. Coinbase, opening tens of thousands of accounts each day is just a sign that there's a lot of people and a lot of money wanting to get into this space. The day we get that ETF green light, I think we get at least a 10% jump in the big three, probably bigger moves from some of the altcoins, but I just think there's so much good sentiment starting to form in this space, and a lot of disbelievers still, which still means we've got a long way to run. So plenty to like about Bitcoin. Just stair-stepping high now. Look, this bracket, I believe we're going to have another what we call a right-hand translation where we continue high for the majority of the length of this bracket before we pull down. And let's look for that could be caused by headlines or for whatever reason. Maybe we just need to cool off. But I think we've got a little way left to run with this nice stair-step higher pattern that we're forming. And obviously we're at this highest fib now since this ran started from the last sort of hard fork pullback. So there's not a lot of resistance back to the all-time highs there. So right within striking distance. Ethereum, the same again. We're kind of looking at this long-term downtrend line, looking to break that. I spoke about how I believe that we're going to break to the upside. Again, this bracket here that bottomed on the 27th, and sure enough, we got a nice push high from that bracket. And now I'm looking at this sort of ascending wedge. I think there's plenty to like about the Ethereum market. I've done that video on the Metropolis hard fork. I like the fundamentals. We'll just have a quick look at this 4-hour chart, but again, across to the MACD, plenty of room to run on the RSI, two brackets pushing up. It's ticking most of the boxes for me, and I think there's plenty of strength to be had in Ethereum, and I think we're going to break to the upside in this ascending wedge. So really solid base. We've spent so much time around this sort of 285 to 295, 300, a lot of volume's been traded back and forward here. In the past and now. So I think this is just building a really solid base for our next leg higher, and definitely broken that long-term downtrend. So Litecoin, there's not too much to say here. We've just got these long-term uptrend lines in place. These cycle brackets, again, we bottom to the day here. Again, a little bit of a pullback here. It's not giving too much back, and then we get this next bracket, and I think this bracket's going to offer again a push up. So we might just zoom into the 4-hour chart to view that trend line a bit better. But this is what I'm looking at here. So we've banged our heads on this sort of 57.40 mark here, around abouts a few times, but just stair-stepping pattern. This nice trend line, this big bracket that's going to hopefully give us that push up to break to the upside in Litecoin as well. So, technically, all of the big three look like they could break to the upside unless we get some sort of news that's currently unknown to the market. I think we get that break to the upside on the big three. So, NEO last week, I spoke about again that big downtrend line. We were just starting to break it, and I said very clearly I think the worst is behind us for NEO. We're starting to hear rumors of positive news, and probably another thing I'll touch on now. I'm sure plenty of you have heard those sort of, we're starting to hear whispers that the Chinese government are going to grant licenses to the big exchanges, and I think that would just be an absolute green light for the whole cryptocurrency space in general, but particularly, NEO and Walton Chain and those coins that are most impacted by these regulatory changes. So you guys know that I got on live during this panic, and I might just switch that over to the US dollar price here so we can see the dip a little bit more clearly. And we trade on Bitfinex. So this was the spike that I was looking at here, and we got down below, I believe we ticked down even below $26 there for, if this is incorrect, but this was basically the panic. So when this came out, huge pullback from $30 down to 26, but at that time I went on, I did my live video, I said, this is all panic, this is all FUD. I loaded up in the $26 range, and I gave my target to my members, and we were able to take that off for a nice profit again to keep up our winning streak. And this is the opportunities that can be had in crypto if you understand the fundamentals and the sentiment in the market and what's going on, and then apply that layer of technical analysis on top. And these regular 10%, 20% profits are just not there to be had in the stock market world, trading the indices and those sorts of things. So that's why I love the crypto market, and why more and more people are so eager to learn technical analysis and understand these markets, which is really my passion. So finally, I just wanted to touch on Zcash. So this is an example of what can happen when a lot of these rumors get priced in well in advance. So we're sort of hearing these rumors about Zcash getting listed on the big, I think it was Bithumb, but we get the big move here. But then more and more people are really building that energy up and waiting to pump it when it happens. And so often when people have had time to digest this news, and it's actually not a strong fundamental thing, like getting listed on an exchange is, sure, it's a positive, and I actually really like Zcash and the privacy side of that, and Zsnarks. I love that side of it, but I just want traders to be cautious that when something's majority is already priced in, you don't want to be the guy that buys up here. And sure enough, when the hype cools out of the market and people realize that ultimately not that much has changed for Zcash in the long run, we tend to give most of that move back. So, now would be the sort of time that I'd be buying Zcash, not up here when the hype's in play. I'm the sort of, if you follow my work, you know that I don't buy into hype. And if you like Zcash, I would be buying it here for the longer run. So I hope you've enjoyed that analysis, guys. Let's keep an eye out for more attacks and FUD from the crypto haters in this space. But I hope you've liked these videos recently. Please consider joining that paid members room. Hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, share these videos around, and as always, thanks for tuning in, guys. Cheers.